Hi there. I just wanted to read this one here. It's in here in Mark. It says, "And he told the disciples to have a boat ready for him because of the crowd, lest they should crush him. For he had healed many, so that all who had diseased pressed upon him, so that pressed upon him to touch him. And whenever the unclean spirits beheld him, they fell down before him and cried out, 'You are the Son of God.' And he strictly ordered them not to make him known." It says up here, it says, "Jesus withdrew from the disciples to go to the sea, and a great multitude from Galilee followed, also from Judea and Jerusalem and Idumea, and from beyond the Jordan, and from about Tyre and Sidon. A great multitude, hearing all that he did, came to him. And he told his disciples to have the boat ready for him because of the crowd." You see, there was like a lot of people following him, and he was healing a lot of people. So, sometimes people wonder, did Jesus, is he really like the Son of God? I mean, who could actually do this? Just by touching him, they were healed. And, I mean, that's a lot of people. You would think, like, why would Jesus say, like, he didn't want to be crushed? So you would think, how could they bother him? But like you said, that there were so many. I guess there's a possibility that they could have crushed him. I don't know. So anyways, I just wanted to point this one out. I found it kind of interesting that there is so many, and it's from all these different places. Jerusalem, I don't know where Idumea is, and from beyond the Jordan, and from Tyre and Sidon, a great multitude. Just found that interesting that he healed anyone that. It says here, he had healed many, so that all who had disease pressed upon him to touch him, and whoever the unclean spirits beheld him, they fell down before him and cried out, "You are the Son of God." So there you go. It's also kind of interesting that it says here, "And wherever the unclear spirits beheld him, they fell down before him and cried out, 'You are the Son of God.' And he strictly ordered them not to make." So once they were cleaned, and whenever the unclean spirits beheld him, they fell down before him and cried out, "You are the Son of God." It's find it interesting also that I think once he cleaned the spirit out of them, the bad spirit, then they were like forgiven, and they were kind of like closer to God and closer to him at that point, because they were cleansed of the evil spirits. And then they said, "You are the Son of God," so they had that knowledge. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into that too much, but it's just something that I wanted to show here that I was reading. Okay, well, let's continue since we started there. Like I said before, I'm trying to read a chapter in each book. I'm in Mark now. This is chapter 3. I'm trying to read a chapter a day till I get through the whole Bible. And then I go from one book to the next book, and I read a chapter. So it says here, and I'm only on chapter 3, but I'm in Mark, so a method seems to work that it's helping me to get through the Bible. Okay, and he went up into the hills, and of course, once I get through the Bible once, then it's going to get easier. I might read like 3 chapters a day in each book. I don't know what I'm going to do, but once I get through the Bible once, and getting through the Bible, the goal is to get to know God better, so I can understand God better and love God with all my heart, soul, strength, and mind. That's my goal, and to love my neighbors myself and to share the gospel. I figure the more I read it, then I'll understand His Word. If I stay in the Word, I talked to a guy the other day, and he was at the airport, and he noticed my hat had Jesus on it. It's a hat that Mike gave me. It says, "I'm hooked on Jesus," and he just noticed it. And then I said to him, yeah, my goal is to love God with all to stay in the Word, like stay in the Bible. And he says, man lives by every word that comes from the mouth of God. And I'm trying to think, okay, where is that in the Bible? Then I finally realized that it's from where the devil tempted Jesus. And it turns out the guy gave me a card. Later on, we talked and everything, and the card, he's a pastor, and he was telling me about some event going on this Saturday. It's a Zoom event. And yeah, turns out he's a pastor. And so it's interesting. I'm not sure the group, but anyways, here we go. And he went up into the hills, and this is what Jesus did, and called to him those whom he desired. And they came to him, and he appointed 12 to be with him, and to be sent out to preach and have authority to cast out demons. Simon, who he surnamed Peter, James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, whom he surnamed Boanerges, that is, sons of thunder, Andrew and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew and Thomas, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. It's funny because, to remember these disciples, that hasn't always been easy for me, but I've been watching the movie The Chosen, and I hope that they're kind of accurate with their depiction of the different disciples are, but at least I can kind of picture that, something like a face to this. And I don't know how accurate they are, but at least I can put a face to a name, But as time goes on, as I read the Bible, I'll read in here, they'll talk about the disciples, and I watch that quite often, The Chosen. I just enjoy it, and hopefully they're accurate, and we'll see as I read the Bible if they're accurate. Then he went home, and the crowd came together again so that they could not even eat. And when, so you see, there you go. Then he went home, and the crowd came together again so that they could not even eat. They went out to seize him, for they said, he is beside himself. And the scribes who came down from Jerusalem said, he is possessed by Beelzebub, and by the prince of demons he cast out the demons. And he called them to him, and said to them in parables, how can Satan cast